Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Gaura Dhawanlal and with me is VC Pramod with the evening news. The headlines. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presents Union Budget for 2022-23. Projects a growth of 9.2% for the coming year. Additional credit of 2 lakh crore rupees for MSMEs to be provided under Credit Guarantee Trust for micro and small enterprises. In the spirit of PM Gati Shakti, National Highways network be expanded by 25,000 kilometers, 100 cargo terminals for multimodal logistic facilities to be developed in next 3 years. Delivery of digital high-tech services to farmers in PPP mode. One station, one product concept to be popularized. Last date for tax incentive for startups extended by 1 year up to 31st of March 2023. National Tele-Mental Health Program for better access to quality mental health counseling to be launched. 75 digital banking units in 75 districts by scheduled commercial banks to take digital banking to every nook and corner of the country. Indian Railways receive an outlay of 1,37,000 crore rupees capital investment support in the budget. Finance Minister says increased capital expenditure and emphasis on infrastructure in the budget will have immediate impact on job creation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says with more investment, infrastructure, employment and development opportunities, budget will give a financial boost and benefit the common man. Industry bodies welcome the budget, calling it growth-oriented and future-looking. Opposition says budget has nothing for the poor, farmers and downtrodden. Election Commission appoints 15 special observers for assembly elections in Goa, Manipur, Punjab, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh. And in Under-19 Cricket World Cup, India to take on Australia in the semi-final tomorrow at Antigua. As the number of COVID-19 cases is rising fast in several parts of the country, we appeal to our listeners to be vigilant and to get fully vaccinated and help others, including children between 15 and 18 years, also get vaccinated. With the new Omicron variant of coronavirus causing concern, please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact the national helpline numbers 011-239-78046 and 1075. And now, the news in detail. India's economic growth in the current year is estimated to be 9.2%, the highest among all large economies. Presenting the Union Budget 2022-23 in Parliament today, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said overall sharp rebound and recovery of the economy from the adverse effects of the pandemic is reflective of the country's strong resilience.
The overall sharp rebound and recovery of the economy is reflective of our country's strong resilience. India's economic growth in the current year is estimated to be 9.2%, highest among all large economies. I recognize we are in the midst of an Omicron wave with high incidence but milder symptoms. Further, the speed and coverage of our vaccination campaign has helped greatly. With an accelerated improvement of health infrastructure in the past 2 years, we are in a strong position to withstand challenges. I am confident that with Sabka Prayas, we will continue our journey with strong growth.
The Finance Minister said the nation is marking Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav and has entered into Amrit Kal, the 25-year-long lead-up to India at 100. She said the government aims to attain the vision of the Prime Minister outlined in his Independence Day address.
Honorable Speaker, we are marking Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav and have entered into Amrit Kal, the 25-year-long lead-up to India at 100. Honorable Prime Minister in his Independence Day address had set out the vision for India at 100. By achieving certain goals during Amrit Kal, our government aims to attain this vision. They are complementing the macroeconomic level growth focus with a microeconomic level all-inclusive welfare focus. promoting digital economy and fintech, technology-enabled development, energy transition, and climate action, and relying on virtuous cycles starting from private investment with public capital investment, helping to crowd in private investment.
The Finance Minister said Budget 2022-23 reflects the firm commitment of the government to boost economic growth by investing in infrastructure development. This is substantiated by an increase in capital expenditure by 35.4%, that is over 1,96,000 crore rupees over the budgetary estimate of 2021-22. Under the budget, the total resources being transferred to the states is 16,11,781 crore rupees.
The outlay for capital expenditure in the union budget is once again being stepped up sharply by 35.4% from 5.54 lakh crore in the current year to 7.50 lakh crores in 22-23. This has increased to more than 2.2 times the expenditure of 2019-20. This outlay in 22-23 will be 2.9% of the GDP. Effective capital expenditure with this investment taken together with the provision made for creation of capital assets through grants and aid to states, the effective capital expenditure of the central government is estimated at 10.68 lakh crores in 22-23, which will be about 4.1% of the GDP.
Ms. Seetharaman said the latest GDP estimates and movement in key economic activity indicators confirm the strength and momentum of India's economic recovery. India's nominal GDP is expected to grow by 11.1% in the financial year 2022-23 over 2021-22. The Finance Minister said, in the railway sector, the Minister said the one station, one product concept will be popularized to help local businesses and supply chains. Multimodal connectivity between mass urban transport and railway stations will be facilitated on priority.
Railways will develop new products and efficient logistics services for small farmers and small and medium enterprises, besides taking the lead in integration of postal and railways network to provide seamless solutions for movement of parcels. One station, one product concept will be popularized to help local businesses and supply chains.
The Minister said capacity in planning, design, financing, including innovative ways, and implementation management of the PM Gati Shakti infrastructure project will be ramped up.
National Master Plan. The scope of PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan will encompass the 7 engines for economic transformation, seamless multimodal connectivity, and logistics efficiency.
1,500 crore rupees have been allotted under the PM Development Initiative for the Northeast Region, or PM Divine Programme. The Minister said multimodal logistic parks at 4 locations through public-private partnership PPP mode will be implemented in 2022-23. The National Digital Health Ecosystem will be rolled out, and the National Tele-Mental Health Programme will be launched for quality counselling, the Minister said.
The pandemic has accentuated mental health problems in people of all ages. To better the access to quality mental health counseling and care services, a national tele-mental health program will be launched. This will include a network of 23 tele-mental health centers of excellence, with NIMHANS being the nodal center, and International Institute of Information Technology, Bangalore, IIIT Bangalore, providing technology support.
To give a boost to digital banking by post offices, 100% of post offices are to be brought under the core banking system. The Minister said the government is keen on promoting chemical-free natural farming, starting with farmers' lands close to the river Ganga. It also envisages to promote post-harvest value addition, consumption and branding of millet products. Talking about the benefits of digital banking, the Finance Minister said,
To mark 75 years of our independence, it is proposed to set up 75 digital banking units in 75 districts of the country by scheduled commercial banks. The financial support for digital payment ecosystem announced in the previous budget will continue in 22-23 as well. This will encourage further adoption of digital payments.
E-passports using embedded chips and futuristic technology will be issued in 2022-23 to enhance convenience for citizens for overseas travel. A battery swapping policy will be launched in view of the constraint of space in urban areas for setting up charging stations for electric vehicles. One Nation, One Registration software will be promoted under NGDRS. It will be a uniform process for registration and anywhere registration of deeds and documents. The auction of required spectrum for the rollout of 5G mobile services will start in 2022. The contract for laying optical fiber cable in all villages, including remote areas under the BharatNet project, will be awarded through PPP in 2022-23. In order to reduce imports and promote Atmanirbharta in equipment for the armed forces, 68% of the capital procurement budget will be earmarked for domestic industry in 2022-23. This is 10% more compared to 58% during the current fiscal. The digital rupee will be introduced using blockchain and other technologies. It will be issued by the Reserve Bank starting 2022-23. As against a total expenditure of 34.83 lakh crore rupees projected in the budget estimates 2021-22, the revised estimate is 37.70 lakh crore rupees. The revised estimate of capital expenditure is 6.03 lakh crore rupees. In the budget estimates, total expenditure in 2022-23 is estimated at 39.45 lakh crore rupees, while the total receipts other than borrowings are estimated at 22.84 lakh crore rupees. The revised fiscal deficit in the current year is estimated at 6.9% of GDP. The fiscal deficit in 2022-23 is estimated at 6.4% of GDP, which is consistent with the broad path of fiscal consolidation announced by the government last year to reach a fiscal deficit level below 4.5% by 2025-26. While dwelling upon the direct tax proposals contained in the Union Budget for the year 2022-23, the Finance Minister announced a new provision to permit taxpayers to file an updated return on the payment of additional tax. This updated return can be filed within 2 years from the end of the relevant assessment year.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that capital expenditure has been increased to generate more jobs and thrust has been given on it in the Union Budget. Briefing media in New Delhi after presenting the budget, Ms. Sitharaman said increased outlay for capital expenditure or public investment will have immediate impact on job creation, and production-linked incentives for new manufacturing units are being provided in 14 sectors, which will also create jobs. She said emphasis has been given on infrastructure sector so that more jobs are created. The minister said pandemic snatched away so many jobs across the world and the Atmanirbhar Bharat package saved the jobs of a lot of people. She said government is trying to help those who lost their jobs through various schemes. Ms. Sitharaman said several steps have been taken to increase the income of farmers, like provision of MSP procurement, solar pumps and agri-credit. Replying to a media query, the Finance Minister said the hospitality sector needed support as the sector was in difficulty post-second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic.
First thing about hospitality and contact intensive, I've said hospitality and related sectors. This was one thing which has come out repeatedly from very many stakeholders, and we recognize that post the second wave, hospitality is in difficulty and they needed support. The tested and sort of proven formula was the Emergency Credit Liquidity Guarantee Scheme. Since that had worked out well for the MSMEs, we thought that formulation is the best to be adopted. So to the existing 4.5 lakh crores of sovereign guarantee, we added 50,000 crore more sovereign guarantee and wanted the hospitality and contact intensive sectors to benefit out of it. So that is the scheme. As it is, many of them are still approaching their banks. Banks can, even without the ECGLS, help them out if they want. But if ECGLS has to be extended. Yes, we have given provision of 50,000 crores for it.
She said emergency credit line guarantee worked well for MSMEs and government has added 50,000 crore rupees to ECLGS for benefit of hospitality and related sectors. Ms. Sitharaman said Air India sale shows government's intent on divestment. She added that LIC IPO in all probability is going through this year. On a question on cryptocurrency, she said the RBI will issue digital currency.
We are not taxing currency that is yet to be issued, and that provision is now made, and the currency in the name of digital rupee will be issued. Exact name you'll get a bit later, but Reserve Bank is the one which is going to issue it, and what Reserve Bank issues is the digital currency. Everything that prevails outside of it in the name of digital whatever are assets being created by individuals, and in transacting that asset, if there are profits being made, we are taxing that profit at 30%. We are also tracking every trail of money in that by saying every transaction will be 1% TDS. There will be a transaction, TDS imposed on every transaction in the crypto world, any transaction that is happening outside. So the distinctions are very clear. Currency is only with the Reserve Bank. That will get issued sometime this year. The transaction happening in the crypto world are of different kinds of assets, and for that, every transaction gets taxed.
Replying to a question, the minister said government has not tried to earn even a single paise by increasing tax this year and even last year. She said the Prime Minister had given clear instructions that people should not be burdened with taxes at the time of the pandemic, notwithstanding the deficit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that this budget will strengthen the economy and create new opportunities for common man. Speaking on Budget 2022-23, which was presented in Parliament today, Mr. Modi said this will give a financial boost and benefit the common man with more investment, infrastructure, employment and development opportunities. He said this budget is full of new possibilities for infrastructure, investment and growth and jobs.
विकास का नया विश्वास लेकर आया है। ये बजट अर्थव्यवस्था को मजबूती देने के साथ ही सामान्य मानवी के लिए अनेक नए अवसर बनाएगा। ये बजट मोर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, मोर इन्वेस्टमेंट, मोर ग्रोथ और मोर जॉब्स की नई संभावनाओं से भरा हुआ और एक नया क्षेत्र और खुला है और वो है ग्रीन जॉब्स का।
The Prime Minister said this budget will also open up the field of green jobs. He said for the first time in the country, the Parvatmala scheme is being started for areas such as Himachal, Uttarakhand, Jammu and Kashmir and the Northeast. The scheme will create a modern system of transportation on the mountains.
जो भारत के पहाड़ी क्षेत्र है, हिमालय का पूरा पट्टा, जहां जीवन आसान बने, वहां से पलायन ना हो, इसे ध्यान में रखते हुए भी नई घोषणा की गई। हिमाचल, उत्तराखंड, जम्मू कश्मीर, नॉर्थ ईस्ट ऐसे क्षेत्रों के लिए पहली बार देश में पर्वतमाला योजना शुरू की जा रही है। ये योजना पहाड़ों पर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन और कनेक्टिविटी की आधुनिक व्यवस्था का निर्माण करेगी और इससे हमारे देश के जो सीमावर्ती गांव है, बॉर्डर के गांव है, जिसका वाइब्रेंट होना जरूरी है, जो देश की सिक्योरिटी के लिए भी आवश्यकता है, उसको भी बहुत बड़ी ताकत मिलेगी।
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presents Union Budget for 2022-23, projects a growth of 9.2% for the coming year. Additional credit of 2 lakh crore rupees for MSMEs to be provided under Credit Guarantee Trust for micro and small enterprises. In the spirit of PM Gati Shakti, National Highways network to be expanded by 25,000 kilometers. 100 cargo terminals for multimodal logistic facilities to be developed in the next 3 years. Delivery of digital high-tech services to farmers in PPP mode. One station, one product concept to be popularized. Last date for tax incentive for startups extended by 1 year up to 31st March 2023. National Telehealth Program for better access to quality mental health counseling. 75 digital banks in 75 districts by scheduled commercial banks to take digital banking to every nook and corner of the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says with more investment, infrastructure, employment and development opportunities, the budget will give a financial boost and benefit the common man. Industry bodies welcome the budget, calling it growth-oriented and future-looking. Opposition says budget has nothing for poor, farmers and downtrodden. And in Under-19 Cricket World Cup, India to take on Australia in the semi-final tomorrow at Antigua. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
Welcome back to the evening news. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari said the union budget focuses on the growth of infrastructure, which will lead to career opportunities for the youth. He said the budget will pave the way for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of a new India. Industry leaders have also welcomed the budget. The president of FICCI, Sanjeev Mehta, has termed the budget as growth-oriented. Talking to reporters, he complimented Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman for bringing out a bold budget.
We are, as a business, very pleased with that there has been broad consistency in the policy, in the tax rates. We are also pleased with the boldness of the budget, that we are all conscious that it will take some time for private consumption expenditure and the private capital expenditure to pick up. So still there is a very clear glide path of fiscal deficit, which is absolutely the right thing. From 6.9% this year, it is looking like 6.4%. That's what the Honorable Finance Minister is targeting. Now, the good bit has been the boldness with which the budget outlay on capital expenditure has been. Increasing by 35% is absolutely the right thing to be done, and that clearly indicates that this is a growth-oriented budget.
ASSOCHAM has welcomed Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman's decisions to focus on green energy and reducing logistic costs in the union budget. CII President-designate Sanjeev Bajaj called the union budget growth-oriented and said it focuses in the right direction. Talking to AIR News, Director General of CII, Chandradeep Banerjee, said it is a future-looking budget with tremendous focus given on infrastructure. He said focus has also been given on ease of doing business.
I see a lot of focus also given to ease of doing business. Ease of doing business we have been talking about for a long time. We see a trust-based approach by the government, digitization of lots of manual forms which were earlier there. There is a focus on that, on MSME credit, and that was something that we have been talking about, and I see the extension of the ECLGS to the next year, which is something that we have been talking about. So I think the government has really focused on infrastructure and continuing, which is a very, very important thing. Number two, another area I would like to say is we don't see any flip-flop of the government on reforms. In fact, we were talking about DISCOMs and power sector reforms. There is a lot of power given to the states to actually do those reforms. And the focus on the states and the money to the states are very, very important features.
The opposition has criticized the budget, saying it has nothing for the poor, farmers and downtrodden. Congress leader and former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram criticized the union budget, saying that it focuses more on the future rather than the present. Briefing the media in New Delhi, Mr. Chidambaram said cryptocurrency is not beneficial to 99.99% of people of the country. On the contrary, another senior Congress leader and former Union Minister Shashi Tharoor termed the government's proposal on digital currency as a reasonable proposition. Talking to the media outside Parliament, Mr. Tharoor said it was very clear that as far as digital currency is concerned, the government was heading in that direction. Samajwadi Party leader Professor Ram Gopal Yadav said the budget is very disappointing and it is for the affluent class. CPI General Secretary D. Raja said the budget does not address the current critical issues related to the Indian economy.
Harshit Bhavari, Director Financial Services Shillong, said that the union budget presented today is a very capital-intensive spending budget. He also spoke about the new scheme added under the preview of the NEC. He emphasized on the importance of road, rail and air infrastructure to transport goods produced in the northeast to the mainland India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will talk about today's people-friendly and progressive budget at a program tomorrow at 11 a.m. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, people from all walks of life have welcomed the Atmanirbhar Bharat Ka budget. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase Hallmark gold jewelry. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India, Jago Grahak Jago.
The Election Commission of India ECI today appointed 15 special observers for the assembly elections in Goa, Manipur, Punjab, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh. The ECI held a briefing with the observers for ensuring smooth conduct of elections. ECI said special observers will be supervising and monitoring the work being done by the electoral machinery in states and oversee the entire poll processes as the eyes and ears of the Commission on ground. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today had a telephonic conversation with the Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Bahrain, Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa. Prince Salman conveyed greetings on the occasion of the Republic Day of India. Both leaders reviewed the bilateral relations between India and Bahrain and expressed satisfaction that the relationship has seen continued progress in diverse sectors, including political, trade and investment, energy, health, security and people-to-people contacts. India and Bahrain are celebrating the Golden Jubilee of the establishment of diplomatic relations between the two countries in 2021-22.
Four-time champions India will take on Australia in the semi-final of the ICC Under-19 World Cup 2022 at the Coolidge Cricket Ground in Antigua tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Indian time. Meanwhile, the first semi-final between England and Afghanistan is underway at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in Antigua.
And now, before we close, the headlines once again. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presents Union Budget for 2022-23, projects a growth of 9.2% for the coming year. Additional credit of 2 lakh crore rupees for MSMEs to be provided under Credit Guarantee Trust for micro and small enterprises. In the spirit of PM Gati Shakti, National Highways Network to be expanded by 25,000 kilometers. 100 cargo terminals for multimodal logistic facilities to be developed in next 3 years. Delivery of digital high-tech services to farmers in PPP mode. One station, one product concept to be popularized. Last date for tax incentive for startups extended by 1 year up to 31st March 2023. National Tele-Mental Health Program for better access to quality mental health counseling to be actioned. 75 digital banking units in 75 districts by scheduled commercial banks to take digital banking to every nook and corner of the country. Indian Railways receive an outlay of 1,37,000 crore rupees capital investment in support in the budget to be launched. Finance Minister says increased capital expenditure and emphasis on infrastructure in the budget will have immediate impact on job creation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says with more investment, infrastructure, employment and development opportunities, budget will give a financial boost and benefit the common man. Industry bodies welcome the budget, calling it growth-oriented and future-looking. Opposition says budget has nothing for the poor, farmers and downtrodden. Election Commission appoints 15 special observers for assembly elections in Goa, Manipur, Punjab, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh. And in Under-19 Cricket World Cup, India to take on Australia in the semi-final tomorrow at Antigua. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.